You know what I discovered after 30 years of treating men with erectile dysfunction? The answer isn't always in a little blue pill. Sometimes it's sitting right there in your spice rack, waiting to be noticed. I'm Dr. Sophia Martinez, and I've spent the last 3 decades helping men reclaim their confidence and restore their intimate connections. Today, I want to share something that might sound almost too simple to believe, but the science behind it is absolutely fascinating. What if I told you that there's a spicy root, one that's been used for over 2,000 years, that can help restore firmness and improve blood flow to exactly where you need it most? And what if I told you that this isn't some exotic herb you need to order from halfway around the world, but something you might already have in your kitchen? Before we dive in, let me ask you something that I hear in my office almost every single day. Have you ever felt that moment of panic when your body just doesn't respond the way it used to? That sinking feeling when you realize that the firmness, the confidence, the reliability you once took for granted seems to have just disappeared? You're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. Please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I share evidence-based solutions for men's health every week, and you won't want to miss what's coming. Now let me tell you about Ricardo. He's a 68-year-old retired firefighter who walked into my office 6 months ago with his head down, barely able to make eye contact. "Doc," he said, "I think this part of my life is over. My wife doesn't say anything, but I can see it in her eyes. I'm failing her." Ricardo had tried everything, or so he thought. He'd been to 3 different doctors, tried 2 different medications, and was convinced that his age had simply caught up with him. But here's what Ricardo didn't know, and what most men don't realize. Age isn't the enemy. Poor circulation is. You see, an erection is fundamentally a hydraulic event. It's about blood flow, pressure, and the ability of your blood vessels to relax and expand when they need to. When that system breaks down, it's not because you're getting older, it's because something is blocking the process. And that's where our spicy root comes in. The root I'm talking about is ginger, but not just any ginger, and not used the way you might think. We're talking about fresh ginger root, and there's a very specific way to use it that can help restore the blood flow and circulation that's essential for firm, reliable erections. But before I tell you exactly how to use it, let me explain why this works. Because understanding the science will help you trust the process. Ginger contains powerful compounds called gingerols and shogols. These aren't just flavor compounds. They're bioactive molecules that have a direct effect on your cardiovascular system. When you chew fresh ginger, these compounds trigger a cascade of events in your body that improve blood flow throughout your entire circulatory system. Here's the first secret. Ginger naturally increases nitric oxide production in your body. Nitric oxide is like the master switch for your blood vessels. When nitric oxide levels are adequate, your blood vessels relax, expand, and allow blood to flow freely. When nitric oxide is lacking, your vessels stay constricted, and blood flow, including to your penis, becomes restricted. But here's where it gets really interesting. Fresh ginger doesn't just increase nitric oxide production. It also improves what we call endothelial function. The endothelium is the thin layer of cells that line your blood vessels. When it's healthy, it produces nitric oxide efficiently. When it's damaged or inflamed, nitric oxide production drops dramatically. Now let me tell you what happened with Ricardo. The first thing I had him do was simple. Every morning, right after breakfast, he would take a small piece of fresh ginger, about the size of a quarter, and chew it slowly for about 60 seconds, then swallow it with a glass of water. "That's it?" he asked me. "Just chew ginger?" "That's the first step," I told him. "But there's more." You see, ginger works best when it's part of a complete circulation restoration system. The chewing isn't just random. It's designed to maximize absorption and trigger the fastest possible response in your cardiovascular system. The second secret involves timing. Most men make the mistake of thinking that natural remedies work like medications, that you take them and expect immediate results. But ginger works differently. It's rebuilding your circulation from the ground up, which means the effects compound over time. However, there is an immediate effect that many of my patients notice within the first week. The warming sensation you feel when you chew ginger, that's your circulation improving in real time. That warmth spreads throughout your body, including to your pelvic region, and many men report feeling more responsive within just a few days. But here's something crucial that Ricardo learned, and that every man over 60 needs to understand. Ginger alone isn't enough. It's the foundation, but if you want reliable, long-lasting results, you need to address the complete picture of male circulation and sexual health. That's why I'm going to share with you the complete protocol that I use with my patients, including the specific foods that work synergistically with ginger to maximize blood flow, and the one simple timing trick that can triple the effectiveness of everything you're doing. Let me tell you what Ricardo told me after just 2 weeks of following this protocol. He called my office and said, "Doc, I don't know how to explain this, but something has awakened. I'm waking up in the morning feeling like I did 20 years ago. My wife asked me what I've been doing differently. She says I seem more confident, more present. That's the power of addressing the root cause instead of just treating symptoms." Now, you might be wondering, if ginger is so effective, why isn't everyone talking about it? The answer is simple. The pharmaceutical industry has spent billions convincing us that the only solution to erectile dysfunction is medication. But the truth is, many cases of ED are actually circulation problems that can be addressed naturally, if you know how to do it correctly. The key is understanding that ginger isn't just a spice that happens to help with circulation. When used properly, it's a powerful vascular medicine that can help restore the natural function of your entire circulatory system. But there's a specific way to prepare and use ginger that maximizes its effectiveness for erectile function. Most people just add powdered ginger to their food, or maybe drink ginger tea. But for circulation and sexual health, you need fresh ginger, and you need to use it in a way that triggers the maximum release of its active compounds. This leads me to the second part of the protocol, the part that Ricardo says made all the difference. Now that we've established the foundation, that ginger can help restore circulation and improve erectile function, let's talk about how to maximize its effectiveness. Because here's what I've learned from treating thousands of men. The difference between success and failure often comes down to the details. Ricardo's story continues in a powerful way. After 2 weeks of the basic ginger protocol, he was already seeing improvements. But then we added the second element, and that's when everything changed. The second element is what I call circulation synergy. You see, ginger is incredibly powerful on its own, but when you combine it with specific foods that work through different pathways in your body, the results can be dramatic. Let me explain the science behind this. Your body has multiple systems that control blood flow to the penis. There's the nitric oxide pathway that we talked about. That's what ginger primarily affects. But there's also the CGMP pathway, which is how blood vessels actually stay relaxed once they've opened up. Then there's the testosterone pathway, which affects your overall sexual desire and response. Most men make the mistake of trying to fix just one of these systems. But when you address all three simultaneously, you create what I call a circulation cascade. Each system supports and amplifies the others. So here's the complete protocol that I gave Ricardo, and that I now use with all my patients. The morning ginger protocol. Every morning, immediately after eating breakfast, take a piece of fresh ginger root about the size of a quarter. Not powdered ginger, not ginger tea, fresh ginger root. Chew it slowly for 60 seconds, allowing the juices to coat your mouth and throat, then swallow it with 8 ounces of water. Why after breakfast? Because ginger can be intense on an empty stomach, and having food in your system helps with absorption of the active compounds. The chewing is crucial because it breaks down the cell walls of the ginger, releasing the gingerols and shogaols directly into your bloodstream through the tissues in your mouth. The nitric oxide booster. About 30 minutes after your ginger, eat a small handful of raw walnuts. Walnuts are rich in L-arginine, which is the raw material your body uses to produce nitric oxide. But here's the key. The ginger has already primed your system to produce nitric oxide more efficiently, so the L-arginine from the walnuts gets converted more effectively. The circulation amplifier. With lunch, include a serving of watermelon or pomegranate. Both of these fruits contain citrulline, which converts to L-arginine in your body, but through a different pathway than what you get from walnuts. This creates a sustained release of nitric oxide throughout the day. Now let me tell you what happened with Ricardo when he started following this complete protocol. By week 3, he told me something that still gives me chills. "Doc, last night my wife and I were intimate for the first time in 8 months. But more than that, I felt like myself again. I felt confident, present, and capable." But here's where the story gets even more interesting. At his follow-up appointment, Ricardo's wife came with him. She looked at me and said, "I don't know what you told him to do, but I have my husband back. Not just physically, but emotionally. He's more confident, more affectionate, and he's stopped retreating into himself." This is what happens when you address the root cause instead of just treating symptoms. When circulation improves, everything improves. Energy, confidence, mood, and yes, sexual function. But there's one more element to this protocol that's absolutely crucial, and it's something that most men completely overlook: the timing secret. The third part of the protocol involves timing your ginger intake with your body's natural rhythms. Your body produces the most nitric oxide in the morning, which is why many men wake up with erections. But for men over 60, this natural production often decreases. By taking ginger first thing in the morning, you're supporting your body's natural nitric oxide production at the time when it's most receptive to that support. This creates what I call a circulation momentum that carries through the entire day. But here's the advanced technique that I only share with my most committed patients. If you're planning to be intimate in the evening, take a second dose of ginger about 2 hours beforehand. Just a small piece, about half the size of your morning dose. This creates a secondary circulation boost that can make a dramatic difference in your response and performance. Let me share another patient story that illustrates this perfectly. James, a 72-year-old retired teacher, had been struggling with erectile dysfunction for 3 years. He'd tried medication, but the side effects were intolerable. When he started the ginger protocol, he saw some improvement, but it wasn't consistent. Then I taught him the timing secret. He started taking that second dose of ginger in the early evening when he and his wife were planning to be intimate. The difference was remarkable. "It's like my body remembered how to work," he told me. But here's what's really fascinating about ginger, and this is something that most doctors don't know. It doesn't just improve blood flow to the penis. It improves blood flow throughout your entire body. Many of my patients report increased energy, better mental clarity, and improved mood. One patient told me, "I feel like I'm thinking clearer and moving better since I started this protocol." This makes sense when you understand the physiology. Poor circulation doesn't just affect sexual function, it affects everything. When you improve circulation, you're not just addressing erectile dysfunction, you're improving your overall health and vitality. Now, there's one more aspect of ginger's effectiveness that I want to explain, because it addresses a question I get asked frequently. How long do I need to do this? The answer is that ginger works on 2 levels. There's the immediate effect, the warming sensation, the increased blood flow, the improved response that many men notice within the first week. But there's also the cumulative effect. Over time, ginger helps rebuild the health of your entire circulatory system. It reduces inflammation in your blood vessels, improves the function of your endothelium, and helps restore the natural elasticity of your arteries. This means that the longer you use it, the more effective it becomes. Ricardo has been following this protocol for 6 months now. He tells me that not only has his erectile function completely returned, but he feels better overall than he has in years. His blood pressure has improved, his energy is up, and he's more confident in all areas of his life. But there's one final element to this protocol that brings everything together. And this is where the real transformation happens. Now that you understand how ginger works and the complete protocol for using it effectively, let me share with you the most important part of this entire system, the part that transforms good circulation into reliable, confident sexual function. What I'm about to tell you is what made the difference between Ricardo feeling somewhat better and Ricardo feeling completely restored. It's the element that turns a natural remedy into a life-changing protocol. The final secret, the mind-body connection. You see, Erectile function isn't just about blood flow. It's about the connection between your mind and your body. When you've been struggling with erectile dysfunction, your brain develops what we call performance anxiety. Every time you think about being intimate, your nervous system goes into fight or flight mode, which actually constricts blood vessels and works against everything you're trying to achieve. This is where ginger becomes truly powerful. Not only does it improve circulation, but it also helps regulate your nervous system. The warming sensation you feel when you chew ginger isn't just improved blood flow. It's also your nervous system shifting from stress mode to relaxation mode. But here's the key insight that changed everything for Ricardo. You need to use the ginger experience as an anchor for confidence. Let me explain what I mean. Every morning, when Ricardo chewed his ginger, I had him do something specific. As he felt that warming sensation spreading through his body, I had him take a deep breath and consciously connect that feeling with confidence and capability. This warmth, I told him, is your circulation improving. This is your body healing. This is your function returning. Within a few weeks, just thinking about that morning ginger routine made Ricardo feel more confident. The physical improvement was supporting the mental improvement, and the mental improvement was supporting the physical improvement. This is what I call the circulation confidence cycle, and it's the secret to not just getting your function back, but keeping it back. The complete system, working together. Now let me show you why this works so much better than any single approach. When you take ginger in the morning, you're kickstarting your nitric oxide production. When you add the walnuts, you're providing the raw materials for sustained nitric oxide production. When you include watermelon or pomegranate, you're creating a secondary pathway for circulation support. But when you combine all of this with the mind-body connection, when you use the physical sensation of improved circulation as a foundation for restored confidence, you create a system that addresses every aspect of male sexual health. Let me share what happened with another patient, Michael, a 65-year-old businessman who had been struggling with both erectile dysfunction and the depression that often accompanies it. After 3 months on the complete protocol, he told me something remarkable. "Doc, it's not just that the physical problem is solved. It's that I feel like a man again. I feel capable, confident, and connected to my wife in a way I haven't felt in years. We're not just having sex again. We're intimate again." This is what happens when you address the complete picture of male sexual health. You don't just get your function back. You get your confidence back, your connection back, and your vitality back. The long-term benefits. But here's what's truly exciting about this protocol. The benefits extend far beyond sexual function. After 6 months of following this system, most of my patients report improved energy levels, because better circulation means better oxygen delivery to all your tissues, better mental clarity, because your brain is getting better blood flow, improved mood, because you're addressing the underlying health issues that contribute to depression and anxiety, better sleep, because your nervous system is more balanced, increased confidence, because you feel like your body is working with you instead of against you. Ricardo told me recently, "I started this just hoping to improve my sex life, but I feel like I've gotten my whole life back." Taking action. Your next steps. Now, I want to be clear about something. This protocol isn't about quick fixes or miracle cures. It's about supporting your body's natural function and giving it the tools it needs to heal and restore itself. If you're ready to try this approach, here's exactly what I want you to do. Get fresh ginger root. Not powdered, not dried, but fresh ginger root from your grocery store. Start with the morning protocol, 1 piece the size of a quarter, chewed slowly after breakfast. Add the supporting elements, walnuts, watermelon, or pomegranate as I described. Practice the mind-body connection. Use the warming sensation as an anchor for confidence. Be consistent. This works through consistency, not perfection. Important considerations. Before you start, I want you to know that ginger is generally very safe for most people, but it can interact with certain medications, particularly blood thinners. If you're taking any medications, especially for heart conditions or blood pressure, please check with your doctor before starting this protocol. Also, some people find fresh ginger intense at first. If that's the case for you, start with a smaller piece and work your way up. Your body will adapt, and the intensity will decrease over time. What I want you to understand is that this isn't just about erectile dysfunction. This is about reclaiming your vitality, your confidence, and your connection with your partner. When you address the root cause, poor circulation, you're not just solving a sexual problem. You're improving your overall health and quality of life. The intimate connection you share with your partner isn't just about physical function. It's about feeling capable, confident, and connected. When you restore your circulation and support your body's natural function, you're not just getting your sex life back, you're getting your life back. Final thoughts. I've been working with men for over 30 years, and I can tell you this: your age doesn't determine your sexual function. Your circulation does, and circulation can be improved, supported, and restored at any age. The spicy root we've talked about today, ginger, isn't a magic bullet. But when used properly as part of a complete system that addresses circulation, nutrition, and the mind-body connection, it can be profoundly effective. Ricardo called me last week. He and his wife just celebrated their 45th wedding anniversary. "Doc," he said, "I feel like we're newlyweds again. Not just physically, but emotionally. This protocol didn't just give me my function back, it gave me my marriage back." That's the power of addressing the root cause instead of just treating symptoms. That's the power of supporting your body's natural ability to heal and restore itself. Intimacy doesn't have an expiration date. Your body was designed to function. Give it the tools it needs, starting with that simple piece of fresh ginger root, and watch what happens. If this information has been helpful to you, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. I share evidence-based solutions for men's health every week, and if you decide to try this protocol, I'd love to hear about your experience in the comments below. Remember, you're not broken, you're not too old. You just need the right tools and the right approach. Start with ginger, build the complete system, and give your body the support it needs to restore its natural function. Your best years aren't behind you, they're ahead of you.